HR and Director Commercial, Mr. Biswal, Director Finance, Mr. Pandey, Director Projects, Mr. Sharma, Director Operations. As you will all be knowing that on 30th of May, we had declared our annual results, and after that you would have gone through most of the figures, and then there would have been some discussions on those data. But before I go to any of the specifics, I think most important thing is that despite of the very challenging environment, we had been able to maintain our profit and profitability. As you know that as of now the installed capacity for the country is little over 3 lakhs megawatt, and NTPC is 47,178, which is almost 1/6 of the total capacity, but we supply almost 1/4 of the total energy. So that is the significant operational highlight which I would start with. Despite of having little less than 1/6 of the capacity, we are supplying almost 1/4 of the energy terms. We are supplying almost 1/4 of the total country's requirement. Supply is not only catching with the demand, but today I think everybody will be aware that we are more or less surplus as far as the power availability is concerned. And that is a very good sign that after a long time we are, as a country, we are having surplus capacity. So if there is any problem or there is a surge in the demand, that can be met through the reserve capacities which are not being dispatched time to time. Very significant development what has happened is that Coal India has been able to increase the production and supply of the coal. So we have been able to reduce our import and thereby reducing our cost of fuel, which in turn is helping the consumers, which includes all of us even in this room. We have been able to, I'll be explaining in detail, but just to give some kind of ballpark figure, we have been able to reduce it by about more than 300 crores per month in comparison to the previous years, the billing to the discount in total. As all of you know that there has been very path-breaking action which was taken by the central government through UDAY, and this UDAY has started showing the result that there is an increase in the demand, and some of the discoms which were almost finding very, very difficult to buy power, they have started buying a little more post UDAY, because that has reduced its cost of funding, and there is some leg rooms, there is some elbow rooms which has been found by them to absorb more power, which I am sure that will be able to help them further. In UDAY, another important factor is not only that's not a financial one, but it's another one important thing is then how to improve the efficiency. As you all will be knowing that every year there is a trajectory of the loss level which has to be reduced, and if it is not reduced, this cannot be passed on to the consumer. This has to be borne as a kind of from the state fiscal. Another significant actions which have been taken is the freight rationalization, and more than that is something what has been recently approved by the cabinet is that allowing the flexibility of the usage of the coal, which will go in a long way and this has the potential to save further about 200 to 300 crore rupees in fuel cost on monthly basis for NTPC, and much more for a country as a whole. Which again will be, as you know, that the fuel cost is a pass-through element, and it goes directly to the consumers and benefiting the consumers. On the cleaner power, there is a commitment to have to reduce the greenhouse emissions by 2030 from 2005 levels, and in that direction there is a 40% of the capacity has to be from the non-renewable, renewable sources rather than the only going by the fossil fuels. So there is a component of 40% has to be from the renewable sources, and which will be mainly through the solar. Efficiency drives, I think there is a lot of improvement has been already achieved in the LEDs through the lighting system. LEDs is really contributing a lot, and I'm sure that further it will be unfolded in the other sectors like how to have the efficient fans and efficient air conditioners, and maybe going forward the efficient agriculture pumps. So that will be helping to reduce the burden on the DISCOMs, making the DISCOMs much more vibrant and viable, which will be helping all the generators like us to have more and more energy generation and supply and recover our money. Coming to NTPC specifics, some of the specifics. On the capacity addition side, we are I think we are just taking the largest share of the capacity addition program as of now. Last year we have added 2,225 megawatt capacity was added. Out of that, 1960 was declared commercial. During the plan, 12th plan, current plan is that 9,550 megawatt capacity has been added. And in the current financial year, it's going to be approximately 4,500 megawatt capacity addition. Inorganic growth, we had acquired Patratu thermal power station, that will also be, the information will be available with you, which is having the operational assets of around 325 megawatts, so that has added to our capacity. As I just mentioned, that the capacity addition is one of the major contributor to the capacity addition. As of now, we are having 24,000 megawatt under construction, which will be commissioned during the different years, starting from current year itself, and that will have a significant impact on our regulated equity and return as a whole, of the earnings as a whole. As of now, I think we have around 41,000, approximately 41,000 crore regulated equity, which is likely to jump in the next 3 years by 75%. So which will be adding to a significant jump into our profitability. As far as the solar capacity addition is there, we have a major share, and we are going to add 10,000 megawatt out of 100,000 gigawatt, 100 gigawatt capacity. So out of that 10 gigawatt will be our contribution. We have already, as of now, we have 310 megawatt capacity under operation. It consists of 110 earlier and 200 megawatt recently we commissioned at Bangalore. And very soon, in the next couple of months, in the next quarter itself, we will be commissioning another 50 megawatt at that place. The other, in the first phase, it's around 3,000 megawatt, which the others are on track, and there are different phases of either construction or under bidding process. As of now, there is a 560 megawatt which is under construction. Coming to the operations, we had last year generated highest ever energy of 241.95 billion units. I would like to mention here that on 3rd of June, the NTPC has achieved maximum generation of 767.63 million units of 100% NTPC owned power stations, and including our group, NTPC group, we had clocked 846 million units, which was more than 25% of the total generation in the country that day. And on 2nd of June, our biggest, not only ours, but the country's largest power station, which is Industrial Thermal Power Station, which is having a capacity of 4,760 megawatt, has achieved 100% PLF. So this indicates that there is a demand is catching up, because otherwise there has been issues related with the demand and there has been backing down. So this I am just sharing with you to give the clear-cut indication that there has been a positive news on the demand side. We remain a reliable generator and we will remain, and our availability factor is more than 90%. NTPC PLF last year was coal-based power station was 78.61% against the national average of 62%. And out of the 10 topmost power stations in the country, we had top three were from NTPC, and there has been a reduction of 40% imports, as we just mentioned, because of the coal production which is increased by CIL. And in continuation to that, this was also in the media, but just to re-emphasize here that we had opened our first captive coal mine, Pakri Barwadi, on 17th of May, paving way for the coal production. We believe that in next 3 to 4 months we will start extracting coal from there. As of now, it is the OB removal which is starting. So it's opening of the mine is from the first day when we start excavating the overburden. We have the 10 coal mines in total, and we believe that in next 4 to 5 years we will be able to reach to a coal production of around 100 million ton per annum, which can cater to around 20 gigawatt capacity. Financials, we have total revenue of 71,696 crores against 75,337 crores. So this looks to be that our revenues have come down or the sales have come down, but it's a right thing to be done, because as I explained that we have reduced our fuel cost. So the fuel cost has been reduced. Without reducing the energy supply, we have been able to reduce the billing to the discoms and in turn helping the discoms. And net profit on standalone basis is 10,243 crores. NTPC is amongst the top 10 profit-making companies for the year in Nifty 50. Operating profit grew by 7% year on year on standalone basis from 11,293 crores in FY15 to 12,087 crores in FY16. And NTPC Group has registered a growth of 8% year on year. The net worth on 31st March stands at 88,782 crores. The total assets are 2,14,619 crores. On the dividend side, the total proposed dividend of 3 rupees 35 paise per equity share, which is 33.5%. On a capex side, we have crossed the target of 23,000 crore and actually it is 25,738 crores. If we include the group companies, it's more than 31,000 crores. And we have contributed 4,113 crore to the exchequer this year in the four different forms. Dividend is 2,070 crores, dividend tax 562, corporate tax 1,400 crore, 1,407, and wealth tax of 7 crores. On a fund sourcing, we had placed euro bonds of 500 millions in the market at a coupon rate of 4.25%, and it was immediately subscribed. And recently we have raised another 1,000 crores via the bonds, which was again within the short span of time it was subscribed. So this indicates that there is a lot of interest for the NTPC for different investors. On the payment side, in the last 13 consecutive years we had